What is up, everybody? Sheehan back here with another edition of the betting show on Sherdog.com, and it's a very, very interesting weekend in the world of mixed martial arts this weekend. We have no UFC, we've no Bellator, we've no, is there one FC? I don't know, we've no PFL. None of the major, maybe American or worldwide organizations are having cards, but what we do have is one, and we have Cage Warriors. Well, two, because there are two Cage Warriors cards, and it's great to see Cage Warriors coming out with more regular cards again. Obviously, it's been a tough time in the pandemic. They've been putting on the trilogies, they have been putting on double headers as well, like we have this weekend, so it's great. If you want your MMA needs satisfied this weekend, Friday, Saturday night, we have Cage Warriors. I did a full breakdown of Cage Warriors, the two cards for Sherdog over on YouTube, over on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you get your stuff, Sherdog.com, you'll find it all there. Check that out. But today I'm going to talk about some of the bets from those cards. There's an ex-MMA 4 card, I think, or 4, I think, yeah. On this weekend as well, John Dodson is on that card. It's actually not a bad card. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those bets on that card towards the end of the show here. But mainly today, I am going to concentrate on, on the great Cage Warriors cards coming up and a couple of the bets from those cards. So let me get straight into it here. And I'm going to go for, actually, before I do that, last week, I believe, my flyer last week was Ilir Latifi to knock out Olenek in round 1. Now, obviously that fight didn't happen, but it is rescheduled for not the weekend coming up, but the weekend after. So I don't know if I should do it again or I should leave it as that flyer on my record or what. We'll see. We'll discuss behind the scenes and we'll see how it goes. I think I only had one bet last week after the previous 2 weekends in a row, so not too bad. But yeah, I'm not as happy with last week's now. But hopefully we'll get into the bets this week. But it's tough to pick out bets from this card. But anyway, we can get to that in a second. If you are betting though, please bet responsibly. Please take it easy. Don't bet more than you can. Don't go crazy with it. Keep it fun. This show especially, this is about having a bit of fun. Making a few quid at the end of the night. Not anything serious. No, you won't be hearing me talking about units or my spin for the year or my percentage winner. That's not this sort of thing. People want to do that, no problem, absolutely. But this is, you go down to the unnamed bookies on a Saturday evening, as it would be here, and you're trying a fiver and you see how it goes. But we'll get into it anyway, and we will talk about my 4 bets here. And I have a different sort of flyer this week because there aren't you can't really get the knockout bets and the submission bets and all of that, so it's been tough. But anyway, we will get straight into it. First bet here, I'm going for the main event on day 1 of Cage Warriors 135, and I'm going for Daniel Skibinski to win in that one against Justin Burlinson. Now, Skibinski is a guy who has really impressed me going back watching him today and over the last week, preparing for the previews and preparing for this betting show. He's the type of guy, you see him coming out of Polish MMA, and you know what kind of guy he's going to be when you go back and watch him fighting on some of those big shows. He's tough. He hits hard. He's a hard-nosed wrestler. He can really do it all. And he's dangerous as well. When you look at him, and actually it just comes up in front of me here before we get into it. Manny Akban has been rematched. He's going to be fighting, who is it here? Hitchens on Cage Warriors, Connor Hitchens on Cage Warriors 136. So it's good to see him back. I mentioned it on the preview that his fight had fallen out. I digress. Let's get back to the bet. Skibinski, what I'm most impressed kind of with him is how he sets up his takedowns very well with his kind of wilder striking. Like there's one clip, if you just Google his or go into YouTube and look up his name, there's like a highlight package, which I seem to be watching a lot recently. Maybe that's not a good idea. I only see the good parts of fighters, but anyway, but I have been watching fights too. And there's one where he dips down to go for a double leg takedown, and he just ramps back up with the right hand and knocks a guy out with an uppercut or knocks him down hard anyway. And I love seeing shots like that, and watching a few of his other fights, watching more of his highlights, that is not an irregular thing. He does that an awful lot, and that's very hard to deal with because Are you going to watch out for the shot? Or are you going to watch out for the takedown? Like, what do you do? And I told you have to watch out for both of them. But it makes it very, very harder. Now, Justin Burlinson, his opponent, is a very, very good fighter too. You know, people probably know him. He was on Dana White Contender Series and all of that. And anyone, I mentioned in the preview, anyone in the UK MMA scene will tell you how good Justin Burlinson is. I think he's more of a good fundamental straight up fighter. I don't think he gets as wild as Skibinski, or maybe, you know, hits with the same ferocity. When they always say the shots you don't see coming are the ones that hurt you the most. And I think that's with Skibinski. I think a lot of that is the thing with him. Now, my only thing here, right, this is obviously Cage Warriors in the main event. It's going to be 15 long minutes if they stay in there. I would fancy Skibinski early, but if it goes longer, I think Burlinson, the way he fights, the style he fights, I think, like, even if this was a 5-round fight, I'd probably be telling you here, go for Justin Burlinson. But I like Skibinski, and his price, I never gave out the price. He's plus 100. So I looked at this actually last night. I wrote down the bet, and he was like minus 115. I think they were both minus 115. But he's come in a bit this morning here. Might check the price again now before you go betting on it, because it might have changed, because it has been changing over the last couple of days. So he's plus 100 to win here. I like that price. I think it's a very even matchup. Look, it could be one of those ones where the first 7 minutes are Skibinski, the last 7 minutes are Burlinson, and it comes down to a judging decision. But I just do think, you know, having talked about judging for a long time and know what judges are looking for. Judges are looking for power shots. And that's exactly what Skibinski does. You know, he is a fighter you'd almost design for the judging criteria. He is a fighter who, when he gets his takedowns, he lands hard ground and pound down there. He goes for submissions, and on the feet he lands big hard shots. Now, Burlinson can do all of that too, don't get me wrong. And if it is a late stoppage or something like that, I would definitely say Burlinson. But I just think that power of Skibinski is going to be too much, as someone decides to start cutting trees or something by my house. But anyway, we will keep going, and we will get through it. So yeah, that is the first bet. Now, my second bet, I am going to go for the second night of Cage Warriors and the second main event. Let me just make sure this price is still correct, because when I saw this, I was a little bit surprised. And that is, let me just check it here again quickly. Yeah, it is still there, yeah. So it's Djati Melan is plus 200 to beat Christian Leroy Duncan for the middleweight title. Now, I was very surprised when I saw that. It was one of those fights that I thought would be similar to the last one, maybe both guys plus 110, or one guy minus 110, but one guy minus, maybe one guy minus 150 at most. They would pick out someone who they thought had a better chance. At most 150, but when I see plus 200 for Djati Melan, I have to go for him. I have to go for him. Now, I respect Christian Leroy Duncan. I like him a lot, and if it was even, I don't know which way I would go, but I just feel, having gone back again today, to preview the card the other day, went back and watched some more fights again today, or I rewatched them, and I just think Djati Melan might be a little bit of a bad matchup for Christian Leroy Duncan. If you look at the second fight against Will Curry, Will was able to get him down at one stage. Now, Christian Leroy Duncan did pop back up, so that's a good sign for him. But there was another bit of a scramble, and there was a submission attempt. He went for a heel hook, I think Will Curry did. Got out of it, no problem. But when Curry landed on top and was kind of dominant on the ground against Christian Leroy Duncan, he found it very hard to get back up, and he found it really, really difficult to get to the fence, to get to a knee, to get back up. Now, eventually he did, and he won the fight and everything like that. But I think Djati Melan is a different beast when it comes to top game, when it comes to takedowns as well. Now, Will Curry is a guy, don't get me wrong, I think he'll be a very good fighter. I spoke about him a few weeks ago. He's on the way, but he's still very young in his career. Like, Djati Melan is not the most experienced either, but if anyone remembers his last fight, which was against Matt Bonner at the time, I previewed that and I picked him and I gave him as one of the bets. I think he was plus 200 as well for that, and he ended up winning. And I don't know, I feel like that's what's going to happen again. I feel like over 5 rounds as well, his style is a better suited style for 5 rounds. Now, having said that, what Christian Leroy Duncan is great at is he's exciting to watch. He's good on the outside. He throws sharp kicks inside. He hits you very, very hard. He is one of those guys where I'm looking at now, if I'm looking at picking out someone from Cage Warriors who needs to improve by a certain percentage and they could become a top fighter, he'd be one of them. He really would be. I think he has a higher ceiling than Djati Melan, but I'm not sure just at this point in their careers that he's ready yet or he's there yet to beat Djati Melan. Now he might. He absolutely might. Or maybe not even to beat Djati Melan, but to go to the next level. But when you're developing even, easy for me to say, a game to fight a long, loose, languid style on the outside, coming up against wrestlers like Djati Melan is a step you have to, step over, if you want to put it that way, or a hurdle you have to step over. But some people stumble over that hurdle, and they get to the same hurdle next time over, and then maybe they'll be able to step over it. I wonder, is that for Christian Leroy Duncan? And now I might be wrong, and don't go at me on it. But look, I just think as well, the way Djati Melan fights, he will strike with you for a time, and he will look like he's going to strike at you. I've seen few fighters at this level, or a little bit higher even, who kind of fake their takedowns better than Djati Melan does. He's really, really, really good at it, and I think that could cause problems for Christian Leroy Duncan. So plus 200 over 5 rounds. Yeah, I just like Melan to take him down, tire him out over the first 3 rounds, and on the feet it might even open up a bit for him there. But this, to me, is the fight of the weekend. I'm really intrigued by this. I think, when I say fight of the weekend now, maybe battle of the weekend might be a better one. I'm not sure if it will be a classic. It could be a one that turns into a classic later on if it goes 5 rounds. But I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. So plus 200 there for Djati Melan. Right. Next bet I'm going for Gerardo Fanny at minus 170 to beat Aaron Abbey. And this was another price I was a little bit surprised by. Now, Abbey's a good fighter as well. He's a guy who throws big, hard shots. You can see a few of his fights over, and obviously it's very handy with Cage Warriors. They're on Fight Pass, so you can see them all there as I fix my hair and made it worse. But anyway, hold on. Come on now, lads. Come on. We have to fix this. No, it's going to be... Okay, I'm going to look like your man from the taxi or whatever. It's going to be great. But anyway, Aaron Abbey throws these big hooks, throws these big lefts and rights, coming inside, trying to knock your head off. And Gerardo Fanny has a very, very, very good chin, but very good defensively at times. I will say that. Maybe he's not the best defensive fighter in the world, but at times he can be very good defensively. And he's a very good kind of... I don't know his counter striker the word, but he will counter what you do in the pocket, if you get me. Like he's not a guy who's like wait and you throw and then he counters, although he can do that at times, but he will like walk forward, throw his jab, then you throw something and then he'll counter that. And he to me, Gerardo Fanny, he came into Cage Warriors and it was Jack Cartwright, wasn't he, that he fought, and he ended up losing to him. Jack Cartwright's a very, very good fighter. He's probably UFC bound. We haven't seen him in a while, but I digress on that one too. And losing that fight, a lot of people, I remember looking at him before that fight, preparing to preview it, obviously, and thinking, this guy is good. This guy could give Cartwright a matchup, because Cartwright has a massive reputation around these parts, and people know how good he is. And I was thinking, maybe Ian Dean has found another one. Now, on that night, he basically got destroyed very early in that fight, or was it second or third round or something like that. But I was like, this guy will be back and this guy will be better, and he did. He came back. He's won his last 2 in a row. Looked very, very good. And I think minus 170 is a great price, honestly, here. Over Aaron Abbey. Like even if you're betting next week on UFC 273, maybe 373. I don't know what it is. That card that's coming up. Throw this one in as an early bet and an accumulator or something like that. I think it's very, very good price. I think he will win, and I think he'll win easily, to be honest. I think he's gonna jab up Aaron Abbey at times. He's gonna let Aaron Abbey tire himself out. I think he could throw in a few takedowns as well. And I think he's gonna win the fight, maybe by decision, maybe late on, but I just like Gerardo's slickness in the pocket and his ability to fight in a fight, if you get me, or in a brawl. He's very, very good there, and he's the type of fighter I like, a good fundamental fighter who'll go out and fight. He's not a guy who'll jab you and like walk around and but which I don't mind as well, which is good as well. I like that sort of fighter. But a technical fighter, well, a technical fighter anyway, maybe tactical is the wrong word, but a technical fighter will go in there and have a scrap as well. It's my sort of fighter, and I like this matchup for him, and I think he will win it. And this might be a scrap as well, because AB could bring it too, so that'll be a very, very interesting one there. Right, the next one I'm going out on a bit of a limb here, right? So I'm going for Luke Riley to win his fight, and he's minus 115. Now, he's fighting Jack Eglin, and I haven't been able to find too much of Jack Eglin, I won't lie. He's only 2-0 in his career. I couldn't find any of his professional fights. Watched a couple of his amateur fights, and I watched one where he lost, so that's a bit harsh, I suppose, to do that in him. And it was, 3 or 4 years ago as well at this stage, so that is a bit harsh. But I'm backing this primarily on Luke Riley, minus 115 for Luke Riley. I just think he's a very, very, very good fighter. And having watched a bit of his opponent, as I said there, and maybe I'll be wrong. We'll come back here on Monday morning, and we'll look at it, and we could see how good how good he actually is. Maybe I'd be 100% wrong, and Jack Eglin is the next coming of Jesus. But I think he'll have to be to beat Luke Riley. Like, if you don't know Luke Riley, he's fighting out of Next Generation in Liverpool, Paddy Pimblett's gym. He's 2-0 as an amateur. Was 4-0, 2-0 as a pro, was 4-0 as an amateur. Now, didn't maybe have the best opponents in the world as an amateur, but, you can't sniff at that record either. And he fought Kamil Winnichak in his first pro fight, who I know here fights out of Ireland, and he's a very, very good fighter himself, and has beaten some good guys at amateur as well. So the win over him is something that really stands out. But Luke Riley, to me, he looks like an athlete. Sometimes you see guys and you think, oh, this guy has the skills, he has the ability, and he has the athleticism as well. And that's what I see when I see Luke Riley. Like, I see something special when I see Luke Riley. Watching the bit of Eglin, I didn't see it. Now, I might be wrong. He might have become special in the last couple of years. As I said, I'm fully 100% admit I am picking this on my belief for Luke Riley more than Eglin. So if you're listening in, Jack, no disrespect to you or anything like that, this is more about a respect pick for Luke Riley, really. And the odds are very, very close. As I said, I think they're both minus 115. They are, yeah, just looking at it again. So that is, that's very interesting. If you haven't seen Luke Riley, good all around, good striker, good jab, but like all that team, we saw it with Paddy Pimblett a couple of weeks ago. Take the fight to the ground, very good on top, good ground and pound, good submissions and everything like that. And that's how I think he'll win it. I think he'll take the fight to the ground. I watched Eglin fight Nathan Fletcher. Fletcher was able to take him down pretty easily. As I said again, though, a few years ago, and he was able to submit him. I could see something like that. The prices for the submission and all of that aren't up yet, so I can't give you them the prop prices. But maybe later in the week, if you see that the submission prop is up there, absolutely bet on that. But I'm going for him straight up, minus 115. I think that's a great bet. And I like Luke Riley, and I think he's the type of guy who you could see going to 5, 6, 7, 8, 0 in Cage Warriors and getting towards the belt. Now, I've said that with another couple of guys as well, and a few of them have been right and a few of them have been wrong, but we will see. He looks like a guy, he stands out as a guy to me who we need to keep an eye on for the future. So check that one out without a shadow of a doubt. Right, so this week I have gone for my flyer bet, a parlay, and it's an Irish parlay. So I've taken 4 Irish guys. G. Anderson was there as well. I haven't gone for him, but I will talk about him later on when I get to the rest of the bets. But I'm going for the Shelley brothers, Adam and Ryan. I'm going for Kane and Loughran, and I'm going for James Sheehan, all to win, and that's plus 523. So it's plus 523 for the 4 of them to win. They're all fighting on the first night, I believe, on the Friday night. So it's, and you know what, I think it's a good bet. Down through the years in Irish MMA, we've kind of been famed for having like Irish MMA accumulators come off, back in UFC Dublin that time, and even in the recent Bellator. I remember after UFC Dublin, I was sitting in the bar across the way, and I was talking to who was it now? It was a teammate, we will say, of one of the fighters on the card. Was he on the card at that time? I think he was, yeah. And when I say teammate now, a gym member and a bit of a coach and stuff, you wouldn't see him fighting in the UFC or Cage Warriors or anything like that. But I remember he handed me a bet to look at it, and I was looking at it. It was like, I think it was €50 at that time, accumulator on like the 5 or 6 Irish guys with, McGregor and all of them. And it was like I don't know what it was, 25 to 1 or something. I was like, oh, sweet. That's the sort of bet you want to put on. So, will we have another one here? Will we have it? And I'm not saying go out and put all this big money on, but all of them are favourites, and all of them are relatively big favourites. Adam Shelley minus 180, and Caelan Loughran minus 145, Ryan Shelley minus 165, and James Sheehan minus 210. I was thinking about putting James Sheehan straight up minus 210. Maybe it's a little bit big to give as or small even to give as a straight bet, but I do think he'll win his fight. I watched a bit of his opponent, and I think James Sheehan will be able to take him down. I think he'll be able to land that length as well. Look, he's the type of guy. His opponent who he's fighting on Friday night, who Karol Michalak, who will cause you a few problems. You know, he will cause you a few problems. You don't know if he's going to fight southpaw or orthodox. You don't know if he's going to come out striking or wrestling. But I think James Sheehan can deal with that, and I think he'll do. Pretty well in that one. The Shelley brothers then. Now, Adam Shelley is a tough matchup. He's fighting Steve Hooper, who's 9 fights in. Ryan Shelley is fighting Majid Garayev as well. So neither of them are getting easy matchups. He's fighting on a Manchester top team, and we know lads coming out of that gym are very, very good. He's fought Joshua and Wardy and others as well in the amateurs. So not the easiest fights in the world, but having watched bits of both of the lads over the last while, both of the Shelley brothers, I think they're very, very good, and I'm excited. You know, as you see, as I said in the preview, the lads on my wall, those are the type of fighters I like, and the Shelley brothers are the type of fighters I like as well, so it'll be interesting. I think the big one and the most intriguing almost Irish fight on this card is Caelan Loughran, because he you don't know what to expect. He's not fought the best fighters in the world so far in his career. This is going to be a different step over the next few fights in his Cage Warriors, stint. So it'll be very interesting to see if he wins this one here. But I'm putting him in as part of my accumulator, and we will see. As I said, they're all favourites, but plus 523 to get the job done here in All Irish Parlay on night one in Cage Warriors. Let's have some fun, and we'll all be flying the tricolour if they get the job done. So. Yeah, those are my bets. I'll review them then at the end. I'll run quickly through a few of the other bets. There's a CES card as well on this weekend. Mike Kimball is on that card, who we know from round with James Gallagher from a few years ago. Do we know him from anywhere else? Did he fight in Bellator? I don't know. He's been around the block anyway for a while. Then the Cage Warriors cards, just a couple more of the bets there. Dean Truman is on the card. He's been obviously around, a very good fighter for a long time. He's minus 160 against Giuseppe Ruggieri. I like him at that price, honestly. I think that's a pretty good price. O'Meal Brown minus 225 against Dan Hepper plus 185. I asked one of my English colleagues this morning, any bets, what you think? And he told me, the first one he said to me, O'Meal Brown, if you can get him by submission, get him by submission. So, there's another bet there. Darren Stewart, he's minus 1,000. Carlos de Souza, his opponent, plus 600. So, unless you want to take a flyer on de Souza, I'd probably avoid that one. The Burlinson fight, as I mentioned, Skibinski is out to plus 100. Burlinson minus 130 now. So Burlinson minus 130. Ed Walls and Gittins, that's an interesting one as well. Minus 180, Gittins plus 150. Ed Walls, I'd probably go for Walls in that one, to be honest there. Paul McBain coming in here. He was supposed to fight a couple of weeks ago. He's minus 260, plus 200 for his opponent Federico Pasquale, and as I mentioned, James Sheehan's minus 210 favourite over Karol Michalak, who's plus 170. Dylan Hazan, a very good prospect as well, coming through. He is the minus 155 favourite over Raminso Bruno. Liam Reese is a big underdog, plus 300, minus 400. Liam Malloy, Adam Cullen is minus 350. He's a very good fighter as well. He's fighting Ndayan Haji plus 275. A fight I really like on this card. Janderson Nakasha, he's training in Ireland as well. He's fighting Alexei Mantekivi. That is a massive step up for Castro against Mantekivi, who's been around for a long time. And look, the odds show it, minus 450 for Mantekivi. But it'll be interesting to see if Castro can pull that off. He's putting himself right up in towards the top of that division there, putting him right into the picture in Cage Warriors. So a massive fight for him. Christian Leroy Duncan is minus 160 plus 200 for over Djati Melan. Big Mike Chukmo, who my friend Jakey's always talking about, minus 145. Apparently he's an absolute killer in the gym. I think he's only 1-1 so far in his career. He's fighting Peter Chlevecki here, plus 115 there. Josh Reed, the crazy horse, one of the most exciting fighters in the world of mixed martial arts, not even in cage, or he's minus 145 against Dan Juice, who is plus 115. Reese Spencer is a minus 200 favour over, Reese McEwen a minus 200 favour over Sam Spencer. That Jack Eglin fighting Luke Riley even betting at minus 115. Jay Kuhagans plus 250 over Kieran Lister, who's minus 325. Lister, a very good fighter. He's right at the top towards title contention in the lightweight division as well. And then you have Mick Stanton minus 185 plus 155 over Laxi Fontes. And then the fight I gave you earlier on, Gerardo Fanny minus 170 over Aaron Abbey at plus 140. Cage Warriors have announced another fight as well coming up. I think Matthew Bonner's on the card, and a late notice fight, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. This XMMA 4 card as well, some very good fights on this. Curtis Melinder is a plus 180 underdog against Jared Gooden, who's minus 220. I don't mind Melinder on that one. I like Melinder. I'm not sure what he's been at lately, but I wouldn't go against Melinder on that one. Francisco Rivera, the legend, one of the most exciting fights of all time down through the years, plus 220 against John Dodson, minus 280. So if you fancy Dodson is one of these guys who I always think he's going to win fights, but his record is very sketchy. So, I probably still would bet him. I'm an idiot, so I probably still would bet him. But John Howard is on this card as well, plus 240. His opponent Angelusa is minus 300. I was looking up his record, and he's like 7-2 or something like that. I'm like, how is he such a big favourite? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not looking into it far enough. Sasha Palatnikov is on this card as well. He's a massive minus 425 favourite over Kyron Bowen, who's plus 325. Kyle Boshniak as well, minus 300, 240 in the plus for Carlton minus. So minus is a plus there. Kyle Short, Zach Otto as well, minus 115, both of them. Straight up, even matchup. Right, that's it from me. I'll read out my bets again. I'm going for the main event in night 1, Skibinski to win, plus 100. I'm going for Djati Melan to win in night 2, plus 200. So I'm going for the underdogs in both main events. I'm going for Gerardo Fanny at minus 170 and Luke Riley at minus 115. And for my flyer of the week at plus 523, I'm going for an Irish special, Shelley, Loughran and Sheehan, all to win at plus 523. Okay, everyone, that's it from me. My name is Sean Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.